Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the Arsenal agenda. We are back again with another video. Alphonso Davies to Arsenal. The links are being linked. Mikel Arteta speaking about his potential January transfer plans. Also, Gabriel Magalhaes has been spotted in Arsenal training and will be back versus Everton most likely. Plus, we got to speak about the Everton game, score predictions, lineups, everything that we need to talk about. All that plus more on today's video. But before we go any further, please do hit that like button. Please do hit that subscribe button. And my brother Gunnar Souls, how you doing?
Yeah, man, I'm good. I'm enjoying the football at the moment, but got a big test tomorrow against Everton at home, which will obviously
Yeah,
get into some crazy transfer news as well. So there's a lot
bro.
to get
Last
into.
time I spoke to you, you were moving mad. You're a little calm now, right? You calmed down a little bit.
Oh no, we're still going for Liverpool. We're still gonna gun for them. But it's about the team's gotta back my talk. That's what it is. I'm bringing the energy.
Mm.
They better bring the energy too.
You know what? Before we go any further, the big question is, we're gonna talk about Alphonso Davies. The poll question for today is Alphonso Davies. Do we need him?
That's a tough
That's
question, isn't it? That's a tough question. Like it's not about whether we need him. It's whether he actually raises the level of what we're trying to do and what we're trying to do with that left hand side. And the answer to me is like we need a lot more game changers and people who can be a bit more dynamic in the attack. We can see when Calafiori plays and he brings that little dynamism to the attack and the way that he can overlap and bring a different element to his game. And that's kind of what we miss. And Alphonso Davies is arguably one of the best attacking fullbacks in the world right now. And, to be able to get someone like that on a free would be brilliant. I mean, we need to obviously clear out because we do technically on books have give or take about 4, maybe 5 left backs in the club. So it'll be interesting to see like the evolution of if a Davies was to come in, because that to me screams we're bringing a striker in. That to me
mm,
screams we're getting a target man. And that might be positive news for a lot of people because the left hand side has been atrocious for a long time. Whether you look at it as a left back problem, whether you look at it as a midfield problem, whether you look at it as a left wing problem, that left hand side has not been performing for a very, very long time. And it's a question of does he fix enough problems? He's a free transfer, but it's going to be the wages that are going to take into account of sign on bonuses, etc. But for a free transfer, we should be putting our hats in, our name in the hat and seeing if we can go and get him.
mm. Big up to Toronto Maple Leaf right here. I gotta represent. I got my hat right here. Let's go. Toronto Maple Leafs it is. But Souls, let's talk about it. First things first. Big up everyone in the comment section. Do me a favor, smash that like button. People have just joined us over from Vibes from the Six. This is the Arsenal agenda, and we got some stuff to talk about. But before we go any further, let me just show you guys what I'm talking about and where we need to figure out what's gonna happen. So there's been some links, and with links we need to talk about it. Arsenal are in the mix for Alphonso Davies. Yes, Arsenal are in the mix for Alphonso Davies. The reports are that Arsenal are looking at Alphonso Davies, and Alphonso Davies has also attracted interest from many other players, many other parties. I mean, so these are the rumors. Arsenal are currently among the clubs monitoring Alphonso Davies' current situation, unclear with his contract situation expiring in June at Bayern Munich. Now, we've already gotten Calafiori, and if we were to now go and get Alphonso Davies, certain people would say it's a lot. It is a mismanagement of funds. Also, other people would say this is ambitious. You're going and getting another player who improves your team, and you're trying to solve the left wing position. And I was watching the Terrace earlier, and some people were even saying, why would he join Arsenal when Real Madrid, Manchester United, Liverpool, and Chelsea are all interested in him? It just doesn't make sense, some
I
people would
mean,
say.
the only club that can actually beat us to is Real Madrid. The rest of them, we have every.
What about Manchester United? They have the money and
Good
they
for them.
play wing backs.
No, but even if you take that out of the equation, let's just say we do want to match it. Let's just say everything's even. It's going to be Real Madrid first, and then everyone else is competing. Because neither of us have a right to say that they would join one over the other.
So what are we saying? Alphonso Davies to Arsenal. Are you buying the rumor, or do you think it's fake news?
I wouldn't say it's fake, But I would say it's an ambitious, and I don't think it's priority, and I don't think it'll be. I think we're looking at it as a level raiser for the team and someone that can come in and absolutely smash the glass ceiling for us. But when people say about, as you mentioned earlier, about mismanagement of fund, that's a complete horseshit. That's bullshit, because when you're looking at Calafiori, he's going to serve a certain purpose, and Davies is going to serve another purpose. And in certain games that we need to unlock that little spark, that's where Davies comes in, and Calafiori doesn't really shine. But when you need a bit more solidity in the back line, that's where a Calafiori can come in. So we need to have that sort of ability to change games in different ways. And when you look at a Davies, other than Real Madrid, who have a God-given right to get whoever they want, which they've deserved, by the way, over the years, they built that reputation with players. But you're telling me Liverpool or a Man United or a Chelsea, we can definitely compete with all of them. Now, where you're right, we may not compete is the financial side, because some of these clubs will pay stupid money. But if you're looking at Man United, they're trying to fix their wage bill. So will they really offer a stupid wage? Probably not, because it'll just break the plans that they've got. Chelsea, on the other hand, yeah, but we'll see how their financial situation, because they're also going to be going to court for financial fair play rules and things that have happened in the past. So we'll see kind of how that comes out. And then Liverpool are in the same boat as us in terms of we don't really want to break our wage structures for a player. So Liverpool won't offer the world to a player, but they'll offer what they feel is fair value market. So I feel like we've got an opportunity against any of them other than Real Madrid. So, time will see. It depends on the player's ambition as well. If Real Madrid match his ambition and give him, what they feel is right, then he might go there. It might not be a money move for him.
Okay. Deo, what do you think of my Canadian brother Alphonso Davies to Arsenal? Is currently being linked to Arsenal. There's numerous rumors saying many clubs are interested in him. Arsenal, one of the clubs monitoring the situation. Is this something that intrigues you, or do you think it's something that is not necessarily something that needs to be addressed right now?
Let me start. What's up, people? Can you guys hear me? Because I changed this mic.
I can hear you clearly.
All right, nice. What's up, Sauls? How you doing, man, my brother? It's been a minute.
Oh, man, how you doing?
How you guys doing? Nice. Look, we can't deny the quality in the player. So if that's a move we want to get, and he wants to come to Arsenal, yes, I'll take him. I'll take him in a heartbeat.
What do you mean you'll take him? Of course you will take him.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Will we take him? The question is, does it make sense? Is it the best fit?
It does right now. That's what I said. With the quality of the player you're talking about, it's not about does it make sense or not. If you have that player on your squad, he's going to make a difference. So I'll take him. That's what I'm saying. It's not. There's no if, buts, and maybes when there's a quality player. Even if you don't need him in that role, he's better than any other person we have in that role right now to a certain extent. So I'll take him. I'll take a better player in any position. Look, if Mo Salah wants to come to Arsenal right now, I'll take him and put Saka on the left. Do you understand what I'm saying? I will take a better player right now, any good player, into the team. Not because I think my players are bad, but because that's the level you need to be if you want to be consistently winning. You have to have players better than what you have now. And then, if you bring in a Gyökeres and Kai Havertz becomes my bench striker, I'm happy. That's the kind of bench I want to see. I want to see Kai Havertz playing the Carabao Cup and playing the FA Cup while I have Gyökeres playing, the Premiership and the Champions League. So yeah, so I'll take him.
Mm-hmm. So do you think I'm approaching the question the wrong way, Souls? What do you think? I'm kind of getting a disconnect from what I'm asking you guys.
I know you're saying is it priority right now? No, it's not.
Yes.
But I know it's not priority. I agree with you, but I will still take him because of the quality of player is what I'm saying.
So when I say Alphonso Davies to Arsenal ? And I just leave it as an open question, is the answer to your question bring him in? We need this player, or is it just I think
it's a market opportunity. I think
we don't need him, but he's better.
Are very, very rare. The quality that he possesses. Look, you can make an argument. He's arguably one of the best left backs in world football. And when a player of that level becomes available for free, by the way, where the contracts aren't being agreed, you have to put your name in the ring. Especially right now, where Arsenal are on the up and up. Players like Alphonso Davies may want to come to Arsenal. I'm not saying it's a guarantee, by the way, because obviously when Real Madrid come knocking, it is a different ball game. You are second favourites to it in most situations. So you have to, man, because this guy
there's a difference.
Change the game for you.
Yeah, there's a difference between what we need and what we're saying. We know that we need strikers. We know we need all of that. Arsenal fans are just the question that you asked. Do we need him now? No, that role, we don't really need anybody in that role per se, but the quality of player we're talking about, or you have to go for him for free. It's not like we're going to spend, it's not like they're asking for 300 million for him or 150 million. You know what I'm saying? So it's a case of, if we've gotten to a stage where if we can pull a player like him of that quality, then yeah, you know, I will take him, you know. But if we can't get him, I'm not worried about our left back, because I feel like even with Skelly right now and the way he played in the Champions League with Calafiori, if he's fit and he's available, even with Zinchenko in cup games, I don't mind. I mean,
how should we be, if the club was doing things the right way? Should it be that we should be going for him and still going for our priorities in the strike and the right wing, or are we approaching it the wrong way as fans?
So he's a market opportunity.
Doing the right thing.
He's a market opportunity. He's free. So that's what, there's a difference between us saying, oh, we're going for a left back and we're going to spend 80 million on Alphonso Davies, and then we're not going for a striker. We're not doing that. There's a free market for one of the best left backs in the world. Like, if he's going to be free. So it's like, hey, we can put our hat in the name, and that means we get a better left back on the team while we spend the money that we're talking about on the striker that we've been asking for.
You're talking about players of like immense quality. You're talking the Mohamed Salahs. You're talking, your Mbappes, your Vinny Juniors, your Rodrigos becoming free. You know, that's the level of left back this guy is. He is one of the best. He's a game-changing left back. You know, he can put in a performance from left back, make a run that wins you a game. That's how good he can be, and he has been. So,
he could even play left wing sometimes.
Yeah, but that's what we're saying, Igal. We're saying because he's going to be free, that's a market opportunity that you don't want to waste. You spend your money on the striker, we will go for a striker. That's a different thing. If we were spending money on him and then we now say we don't have money for a striker, that's a stupid move.
Of course, if you're saying like we're paying money for Alphonso Davies, which means we can only get a Chris Wood striker, then of course, people are going to be against it. But this shouldn't break the transfer plan. This should just be, okay, a market opportunity has presented itself. We do have a problem on the left-hand side. He solves a lot of those problems. Let's go get him. But if we can't get him, it doesn't destroy the team. That's all it is.
That's all it is, yeah.
So everyone's thumbs up on this one.
Yeah, of course. How can you not be?
It's a free opportunity, so I'm thumbs up on it. I'm not saying that should be our priority. There's a big difference. I don't want people in the comments.
We shouldn't waste the entire transfer window going for him and not getting anything else.
It's not priority, but it's quality. It's almost like if somebody walked up to you right now, Igal, and said to you, there's a Lamborghini, and in the next 1 hour, it's going to be, if you have 50 pounds, come and take it. Like, dude, you would leave the stream right now, go over there, pick up the car.
You want to question it. You want to go back and
forth. No, but if it's stick shift, I can't drive it.
No, it's not. It's Lamborghini. You can put it in.
Go sell it then if you really want it. The point being, though, just because you've got a car where someone offers you a really cheap Lamborghini, legit, by the way, brand new, Lamborghini themselves come to you and say, look, it's all under warranty. You're not going to sit there and go, nah, I've got a car already.
Yeah, I've got a left.
No, you're not. You're not. That would be stupid. That would be stupid. Okay, let's go on to the next topic, though. Before we go any further, we got 119 of you guys and 78 of you guys are watching on YouTube. Please do me a favor, hit that like button. Deo, you're not drunk today. Big up Igal for president. Thank you. What else we got? We got some of the who? I don't know. This guy. I thought he said something else. He's complimenting me.
I've never been drunk on the stream.
He I guess he disagrees with you most of the time, so he's using it as a
he's just thinking you're
to take a shot. You got skills in the building saying facts souls. You got another one here saying big up Igal Davies to Arsenal. I think would be great move. Manager clearly doesn't rate Kieran Tierney. Kieran Tierney, I don't know why people keep mentioning him. He hasn't played in like a year plus.
He's
still have wages on Davies. What?
So wages, here's the thing about it again. Let's address this thing. There's something Arsenal fans do, right? And most fans do it. When you finally quell the issue of transfer fee or he's free, he's this. Okay, what about the wages? Look, wages can be broken into many, many little things. For example, you can do your rights that look rights and all that as part of the wages, whereby the club doesn't pay majority of the fee, but then sponsorship, Adidas, whoever it is, pays the other right because they use him for ads and all that. So there are ways to break up this thing. People just don't, assume that it's just the club alone that carries the wages and everything comes out of the pockets of the club. There's many ways to deal with that. The point is, if you're going to complain about wages for a player of this quality, a world-class left back, then what are you doing? Why are you Arsenal? If you want to be world-class, you should be paying world-class wages with world-class players. That's not something
It's stupid though. It's like, oh, Gyökeres is going to cost us too much. He's going to cost us 75 million plus wages. It's like, well, then when are you ever going to improve? You may as well become a Burnley.
Exactly. That's what. If you want to be the best team, you think you're going to continue. We can't continue with just hoping our academy players are going to become great. We get players, and we hope that these players become great, and we can gel them together. There comes a point where you're like, look, you have to step up as a big boy in the big boy game, pay the big wages, have the big players, have the big names, and intimidate teams and win. That's what it is, So if you want to be the best, you have to play like the best. You have to spend like the best. Madrid knows what they did. The deal they did with Mbappe. What do you think it was? It's like, if you want the big names, you got to do the big
people don't understand football economics. Like, there's simple ways that clubs make this money back. They're not stupid. They don't just sit there spending and spunking money at players, that they can't afford to have. There's image rights, there's going to be advertisements, there's going to be brand deals, there's going to be, the amount of tourism that's going to come into the actual club, and the amount of, fans who are going to come in to watch an Mbappe, to watch a Vini Jr., to watch a Rodrigo. It's going to pay for itself eventually. So people just need to understand that there's so many criteria for a player and making that money back and what we paid them. It's a market opportunity. That's all it is.
All right. Before we get into the Everton game, quickly, team news. We got some team news, ladies and gentlemen. And I just want to ask you guys a couple questions and talk about some things. So first things first, people in the chat, do me a favor. Please do hit that like button. Please do hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so. Helps the channel massively. Show some love to all the people also in the chat by leaving us your questions. The next thing we're going to talk about is team news. And of course, we have gotten an update that Gabriel, we've gotten an update on Arteta will run, what? He basically said Calafiori and Gabriel Magalhaes trained ahead of the game versus Everton. So that is some good news. And he said this in the press conference ahead of the Everton game. So with Gabriel Magalhaes and Calafiori being back, I don't expect both of them to start, but I would expect Gabriel Magalhaes to be more likely to start. I don't think both of them will start, but if I were to predict who would start out of the two, I would say Gabriel Magalhaes. But what are you guys saying? Good news, obviously, but do you think they both play?
I think they both should play, and here's my reason. I know for a fact. Well, not for a fact. Let me just say I've studied this season so far. The first 15 games, the way Arsenal has approached the injuries of players. Any slight nig that can be prevented, they take them out. And they make it a thing where they let them rest, and and it's a good thing that they're doing. Calafiori and Gabriel, their injuries were never major injuries. It wasn't something that was going to knock them out for a long time. It's good that they got some rest. They can be back in the game. But I think that for this one, you're right. Maybe I play Gabriel, or I start with the squad that played the Champions League against Everton, and then maybe second half bring them in so they can start to get minutes in their legs. The other thing you don't want to do is have players out too long and they become cold. So you have to make sure that they're up and running. Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna throw it to you from a different angle. Would you start Myles Lewis-skelly at left back instead of Calafiori?
Oh, 1,000,000%. This guy is sensational for his age. Like the way that he kept his composure against Monaco to do the through ball to Gabriel Jesus, I think he deserves to start. I mean, we don't need to be rushing players back. I think he's more than capable in terms of the way that I would want to approach an Everton game. Now, I don't need a Calafiori to play Everton, personally speaking, and I don't think that experience can go to Myles Lewis-skelly, and I personally believe he will start against him. And it's at home as well. He's on the back of a massive, massive confidence boost and a big win in the Champions League. And obviously, when you hear the praises of the players, when you hear the praises of the manager, talking about Myles Lewis-skelly, I feel like he is going to be given an opportunity, not because he's earned it, but because of circumstances as well. But it's a game where I feel like we should be winning anyway, whether it's Myles Lewis-skelly or whether it's Calafiori. But if you're asking me what my lineup would be, yes, he would be at left back.
I would actually play Timber right back, Myles Lewis-skelly left back, and I'll play Thomas Partey in midfield. We're going to talk about our lineup in a second. Deo, do you agree? Myles Lewis-skelly should start.
I mean, he's earned the right to start from the way he played in the last game. And yeah, player rotation is a good thing for us because we have a lot of games coming up. So yeah, I think I'd start him against an Everton. I don't need a super solid defense to beat Everton. They're not the highest attacking team.
Okay, so we know. Let's just go over our lineup then.
But they're a threat in set pieces as well, because if people don't realize, we have the same number of set piece goals as Everton does this season so far.
We're going to talk about Everton in a second, but before we do that, quickly, what's the Arsenal lineup that everyone's going with? I think it's very simple. There's names that just go into the team sheet quite easily. Raya's in the team sheet. Timber's in the team sheet, in my opinion, at right back. Saliba, of course, right centre back. Gabriel, if fit, left centre back. Left back, here's where it's different. I'm actually going to go Myles Lewis-skelly, left back. DM, I'm going to go Thomas Partey. Right side, on the midfield, Odegaard. Left side of the midfield, I'm going to go Declan Rice. Up top, you got Bukayo Saka, you got Kai Havertz, and you got on the left, do you start Martinelli or do you start Trossard? I start Martinelli.
Trossard started the last game. You never started.
Okay. Well, that's your line.
That's not my lineup, but yeah.
I'm saying that's Vigal's lineup, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's Vigal's lineup.
What's your lineup?
I mean, yeah, I'll play Myles Lewis-skelly in left back, and I'll play the standard Saliba, Gabriel, and Timber. But in my midfield, I'll play the midfield that I played against Monaco. I'll play Odegaard. I'll play Rice, and I'll play Marino. I think they look more balanced to me, the three of them. I'm not saying that because Partey is bad. No, Partey is very, very good, and he's been one of our better midfielders this season. But in a game like Everton, I don't need Thomas Partey's physicality like that as much. And I don't want him getting injured. So player rotation for me, I'll play that midfield. Yeah, you say you don't start Trossard, I'll start him. Martinelli has been crap so far. So I will start Trossard just to teach him a lesson. In a game like Everton, where he should be able to shine, he's not getting a chance to shine this time around, because even in the big games where he needed to step up,
but Trossard's wank when he starts. But
but those are the two options I have. But the Martinelli, who's supposed to be firing, is not firing at all. So why do I keep allowing you on the pitch when you're not firing? I've given you Mikel Marino on the left. I've given you Rice on the left. I've given you Myles Lewis-skelly on the left. I've given you what's his name, Calafiori on the left, and you still are not firing. I've given you multiple people, and Trossard has stepped up certain times when he's gotten on the pitch more than Martinelli this season.
But he's better off the bench. I need the off the bench.
I know he's better off the bench, but I'm playing Everton, right? So for me, because for me, I look at Martinelli and Leandro Trossard now as two off the bench players. That's how I see both of them right now.
No. Trossard is bona fide changing.
I'm saying I'm looking at Martinelli like that as well now. Because I'll get a left winger in January if it was left to me. So I'll get a left winger, and both of them will be my bench players who come off the bench.
So let's come to a conclusion.
So I would play Trossard.
We agree, majority rules. I'm saying Martinelli, Sol's saying Martinelli, right?
I'm not really saying Martinelli. It's just because it's just picking my poison, really, in it at this moment in time. So I just think. Well, at least with Trossard, I've got faith if he comes off the bench, he'll do something.
I see him doing a madness and starting Jesus or Sterling.
He should at this moment in time. I mean, we need I've been saying it for years, man. We need a left winger. I don't care. Don't get me a striker. I don't even care for a striker. I just want a left winger. If we get a striker, nothing changes, man. Nothing changes with a striker. That left wing is horrible, man. I'm tired of seeing either one of them start. I can't be asked. I just can't.
Are you going to that extreme where you're saying nothing changes?
Nothing changes unless we get a left winger, man. Nothing changes.
Nothing.
Get me, even if you get me flipping him, but nothing changes unless we get a left winger, man. That left wing is horrible. Whoever starts just stinks.
Nothing is crazy, bro.
Nothing changes, man. It's the same shit. It's the same shit. That left-hand side will always look imbalanced. There's not enough happening in it. And then it's like, oh, we've got the same problem. You need a left winger before we.
We're going to talk about this right now. This is a.
But also, I do agree with Dial's.
Before we go any further, let me read the super chat. We got Basic, another defender linked to Arsenal. I'm tired of defenders. Arteta has bought 5. Arteta has only bought 5 attackers during his time. Who are those 5 attackers? Willian, Jesus, Havertz, Moreno.
Moreno's not an attacker.
Trossard.
Moreno's not an attacker.
not Moreno. Marquinhos. Wow, he's right. And Sterling. So 6. He brought in 6 attackers. Not that good.
You can't trust that.
I did count Trossard. Honestly, I do agree with Basic. I'm sick and tired of defenders. Also, I need an attacker. But if
but
if we get Alphonso Davies, he could help fix our attack.
But that's not even the point. He might not help fix the attack, but the point is, I think Basic is you're not looking at the context surrounding Alphonso Davies. He's going to be free, and he's one of the best left backs in the world. So if you're linked to him, you might as well be linked to him because he's free. The bottom line is there's a difference if Arsenal is going out there spending money to buy Alphonso Davies and not buying the striker. No, the money for the striker is going to be untouched because you can strike a deal with Alphonso Davies, who is going to be free, basically. So that's the difference. And what is wrong in getting the better left back? Again, you're just upping the level of the players that you have. I know we know he's going to Madrid. Nobody's saying. My point is, put your name in the hat, right? If they told you right now that they're giving out free houses and that all you needed to do was write your name and put it in a basket, you say, well, I think that guy is going to win, so I'm not going to put my name in it. Put your name in the bloody hat. You never know what will happen. That's all we're talking about.
Yeah, big up for the super chat, man. Really do appreciate it. Big up to you. You're a real one. Didn't he buy Odegaard? Odegaard, I don't view as an attacking player. I view him as a midfielder.
But he's an attacking midfielder.
I view him as a midfielder. I'm talking about forward. I'm talking about striker, midfield. I'm talking about striker, winger. I'm not like Ozil. You'd count as a 10. He's an attacking player, but he's a midfielder. I'm not viewing him as a winger. You know what I mean? Let's get into this though. Before we get into the next game, quickly, what is the back line for you guys? You guys agree with me? Timber and Myles Lewis-skelly?
Yeah.
I think Deo wants to play Calafiori.
No, I said I'll play Myles Lewis-skelly. I don't need Calafiori to be injured again against an Everton. There's no point. I'm saying I'm looking at player rotation, and that's very important for me. If Myles Lewis-skelly had played like us against Monaco, then I'd play Calafiori today. I'd play somebody who I can depend on. But now he showed that he's dependable when he's called upon. When there was an injury and they needed him, he showed he was dependable, and that is very important. So I'll play him still again in this game, and then rest Calafiori a little bit more to heal some more. We have more difficult games where we need Calafiori's strength in that defense.
Okay, so let's get into the Everton game now, though. Next, we got Everton. Everton is going to be a tough team. Tough team to play against. Defensively, they're really resolute, but they've been stuck. They've been struggling to score goals as of late. Sean Dyche's side, they just scored 4 plus Wolves. They had their best result before us, and they had the Merseyside derby cancelled. They've been finding it difficult this season. Sean Dyche, he did a good job keeping them up. I'm not gonna lie, credit to him. How do you guys think this game's gonna go? What concerns do you have about Everton? We've already spoke about the team news. I'm just gonna quickly pull up the projected teams that they're going to play with and our team. And let's just go through it and just talk about it. Like, what are your concerns? Obviously, Pickford's a decent goalkeeper. He always finds a way to save a lot of our chances. Their defense, besides Braithwaite, who Souls rates very highly and I rate, Tchaikovsky, we should, I don't rate him too much. Ashley Young should get the better of him on the left-hand side. The way they set up, with the 2 back lines, you can already tell Saka's going to get doubled up for majority of the game. Dwight McNeil is going to be helping out a lot. Decore, he really did a good job. Decore did a really good job against us on the final day of the season last year. No, did Decore play or was it Thing?
It was Onana when Dyche first came in.
But Decore played in that game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but it was Onana. It wasn't the last game of the season. This is at the Goodison Park when Onana absolutely destroyed us. Yeah,
Onana played well. Dominic Calvert-Lewin is more toothless than all our forwards, so I'm not too concerned about him. Hopefully he doesn't score now and make me look silly, but I think we are going to have a good enough team to beat them. Even if we went with this team as it's currently constructed, I wouldn't feel comfortable with Partey right back, but everything else I'm okay with.
I think the where Everton is right now, where Arsenal is, and the way we're playing and the way they're playing. If you just look at the paper, and we should be winning this game. That's what it is. But we all know what football can be like. So it depends on which Arsenal turns up, and I think it's going to be the Arsenal that wants to go there and win, because they already know what time it
We're
is.
at home.
Yeah, I know. Apart from being at home, which is a good thing. I mean, it's a good thing we're at home, but most of the players we're playing most of our games in London until next year, until January, which is good. So people are not stressed. They're not traveling. You know, you're getting a little bit more rest. You're getting more training during the week, even though you have multiple games to play every 3 days. But at least now there's no major excuse of I just got back and injured. You know, all of that is out the window. Just go in, play this Everton game, keep a clean sheet, and let's just move on. For me, it's about the points now, and I just want the performance to match the result. You know, and if we can do that, then yes.
All right. Next, let's talk about Martinelli. We got a problem.
Just on
Martinelli.
Everton before we move on. One of the things that you need to also consider is their news just broke as well, that the ownership takeover is going to happen and it's been approved by the Premier League. That could be a big rejuvenation for them, because now they actually know the direction that the club could be going in. You know, before obviously they didn't have a clue about who the owners are going to be, like where the club is going to go. Is it going to go into administration, or, you know, where the direction was going to be? So you never know. News like that can absolutely rejuvenate a team to play that a little bit harder, even if it is just for 1 or 2 games. So I don't think we should be writing off on Everton, because they have done crazier things to us in the past as well. So I'm wary of this game, regardless of on paper or on form or all of this sort of stuff. We need to go in there with absolutely elite mentality, but it needs to turn a corner now, because we've had a lot of disappointing results this season, and it's about turning that over and turning that and saying to the fans, look, you know, this one's for you. And we need to have a statement win at some point.
Yeah,
and
this is what I wanted. Sorry, Igal. I maybe I'm getting this wrong. What do you mean by? Can you define what you mean by a statement win?
Like, a statement win is something that like brings us back into the picture a bit more. Like, I'm not saying we're not going to chase Liverpool. I'm not saying we're not going to win the league, but it has to be like something that shows us, because especially a struggling team like Everton, we need to go there and give them a right spanking. You know, like, we need to show a bit more of that sort of what we know the Arsenal to be of late. But at this season, we haven't seen it. We haven't really seen that Arsenal that we know can go there and absolutely just put tooth and nail and just dominate without really feeling threatened at all.
Well, like you said, there's reasons why they would also feel rejuvenated, and every football player has pride and every team has their own pride. So this dominating that most Arsenal fans expect, I try to just call my thing and say, look, this season, if I'm a Mikel Arteta, it's not just about dominating, it's about getting 3 points. However you want to do it. Get the 3 points and let's win something this season. That's the most important thing that I think that the team should be looking at now. They know what
performances are going to start catching up. They already have.
Yeah, you know, the crazy thing is, people are not even talking about the Everton game online. They're talking about Arne Slot saying that the toughest team he played this season is Chelsea.
Yeah, man, Arsenal are a bunch of babies, man. This fan base is a bunch of pussies, man. Just get over yourselves. He didn't even comment on us. And what if he didn't think we're the hardest game? Cool, move on.
Even though after the game he said we're the one team to play them. I don't care what Arne Slot thinks. Like, why?
But you do fall into that category. You do care what other people think.
I do, but majority of the time,
why?
Majority of the time, it's related to a conversation or a topic that we're discussing. Right now, I think this discussion is pointless. He had an interview soundbite where he spent 25 seconds speaking about Chelsea and how they've been the best opponent that Liverpool faced this season. And now you have 5,000 comments of people who are Arsenal fans saying how disrespectful, we outplayed them, this, that.
No, but this is why I said our fan base is such a fickle fan base, and I will never back down from saying it again. The fact that we're even having this conversation doesn't, like, why are we having it? Look, the guy has the right to choose the team that he thinks is the hardest team he has played, because the funny thing that most people don't realize is managers saying that they're saying it based off of the way they set up and how the other team set up against them. It's not based off of the team is better. That's the best team in the league. So that's the hardest team he has played. It could have been Nottingham Forest that could have been the hardest team. Nottingham Forest that beat them 1-0. He didn't say that's the hardest team he has played. They lost to Nottingham Forest. So what are people saying? It's like, it's so silly. Like, we shouldn't be having this conversation. Like, if you see, that's a Liverpool-Chelsea conversation. Let them have that conversation. Let them be happy with that.
Yeah,
we don't have to insert ourselves all the time. Arsenal fans
100%.
They insert themselves in everything.
Yeah, to the fellow Arsenal fans, we don't have to include ourselves in every conversation. I know I like to do that sometimes. Rich coming from me, but we don't have to do that every single time. All right. What else is there? We kind of spoke about the game a little bit. We spoke about the injuries, but did you guys hear? There's something that happened. We spoke about transfers were referred to by Mikel Arteta in a previous press conference. In the end of the Champions League game press conference, he was asked about the upcoming transfer window, and what he had to say about the transfer window is something that you might not be happy with. He said we're always trying to improve ourselves in the January transfer window, but it's not easy, and basically implying that it might be difficult to get any business done in the January transfer window as the window opens and shuts quite quickly.
Yeah, but are you going to blame him right now for that statement? We have an interim sporting director working. We have to look at context as well. Like we're not. Yeah, I mean, this person probably could get a job done, but we don't have anybody in that position.
Do you want me to read exactly what he said?
I heard what he said. I heard what he said. I'm just saying, like, yeah, and he's spitting facts. He's telling us exactly what he.
Arteta on dipping into the January transfer window. If injuries persist, the window gives us an opportunity to strengthen the team if we feel that we need, if we feel that we have the capability to do that as well. We are on it. Just have to assess the situation. It changes every week, but at the moment, not for the better, but I'm positive that in a few weeks we are going to be in a better place.
But what he said here is very positive. I mean,
he's basically saying we're not going to do nothing, bro.
That's not what he said, though, Igal. I don't know how you got that from this statement. This statement says we're dipping in January transfer window if injuries persist. He says the window gives us an opportunity to strengthen the team, which means that's what this window is going to give us if we feel that it is needed, and if we feel that we have the capacity to do that as well. Like, if we feel like we have certain positions that have to be filled because of injuries, we'll do it. We're on it. He said we are on it. And we just have to assess the situation because it changes every week. That could mean they're looking at players and that player is looking at another club. That could mean that they're looking. It doesn't mean that they're not getting someone, right? And then he goes on to say, at the moment, and it's changing every week. At the moment, not for the better, but I'm positive that in a few weeks, we're going to be in a better place. That doesn't mean that they're not going to bring. That could simply also mean in a few weeks, we might bring somebody to add to the team. We might be adding a couple of people. We'll be in a better place. That doesn't mean that they're not going to do any business. I don't see the connotation that that's what that means there. Like, for me, it could mean either or. They're assessing the situation, and it is changing every week. If you're talking about Alphonso Davies, for example, because he's going to be free, put your name in the hat. We said that. Okay, does Gyökeres want to leave in January? If we want Gyökeres so bad, if the player doesn't want to leave in January, what do? You can't force him. And if you then say, okay, let's go get Nico Williams, pay his release clause, that might be what he means by, we'll be in a better place in a couple of weeks. You never know. We don't know what they're doing. We can't assume that because he says, I mean, why are we expecting the manager to come out, the manager, not the sporting director, not the CEO of the company or the CFO, to come out and say, oh, yes, we're going to buy 4 players. He can't do that. You can't tell the press that. No manager has ever said that in the history of football, but that's what we're expecting our manager to say.
Fair enough. Fair enough. By the way, if Arsenal go in for Mykhailo Mudryk, I'll be fuming.
I mean, the thing is with this quote, right? How many people lack business acumen? What do you want Arteta to come out and say? Yes, we are desperate need of players. Oh my God. Guys, please finesse us. We're so desperate. We need your career. Please take advantage. Are you man stupid? Do you know what negotiations are? Do you man not know how business works? When you put your hands out there and say we're desperate for players, guess what's going to happen? That £50 million player is now an £80 million player. You absolute fools. Are you man brain dead? Are you guys fools. Like, this is where I get so irritated with this fan base. Educate yourselves. Like, I don't even care, man. No matter you can get online. You can educate yourself.
One second.
How sales work.
He does not need to make it seem like we're not going to do nothing, though.
But he didn't make it seem that way, Gal.
He has to. Why would? Oh my God! If you're buying a house, right, and you're there to the guys who are negotiating, I want this house. This is my dream house, and you're giving them everything they need to hear. What do you think is going to happen to that price? Actually, the price just went up. You can't be a fool. You have to make it seem like you don't need something, especially in football. You don't want to get finessed. You want to have the upper hand in these negotiations. It's very, very simple. It's not hard to understand. Secondary to that, he's the manager. He needs to understand that there's morale to be played here. If he's sitting there and saying, we've got big problems in this squad, what do you think the players are looking at that and going,
that's exactly the problem? This is exactly why.
Then you're going to have morale problems in the squad because now you've just been called out by your own manager when actually it's not even a crisis. Come on, guys.
And that's the crazy part. Like, so when we hear the manager speak this way, and then fans just run. I think fans enjoy the chance of just being able to shit on the club the way they want to and just
they like to look like shit.
Bro, I'm not shitting on the club.
Not you.
I'm just simply saying I don't know if the club is going to make a signing in January.
Yeah, nobody knows.
And I don't think anything Arteta's saying gives me any confidence that we're going to go out there and strengthen.
Okay. Can I ask you a question? When's the last time Arteta said anything about a transfer that gave you confidence? He never does. But yeah, we've still signed players. He's never once given the fan base what they want to hear. But yet we've signed players. Yet we've got Rice. Even though he said about Rice, he made it so ambiguous about Declan Rice. A couple of weeks later, we signed him. Trossard, couple of days later, we signed him. When it comes to every one of these players, the guy has said we may not be. Even with Mikel Moreno, he dismissed it. What happened a couple of weeks later, we signed him. So people just need to understand, right? This manager, what he has to do, he has to balance a few things here. He needs to make sure that the morale of the team, by the way, who still have a very tough December to play, that he doesn't go destroy that. Because if he comes out and says, Martin, basically, we need a left winger because the lines have both basically been poor. Our left-hand side's poor. We need to look at fixing it. What do you think that left-hand side's going to feel? Oh, yeah, let's go perform for this manager. No, they're going to be demoralized. They're already low in confidence as it is. Like, guys, come on, man. Like, I'm sorry, but
there's so many. Which is why I said I've never understood why any fan base wants to always hold the manager responsible solely, and I'll use the word solely responsible for player transfers when there's a bunch of people in the club who are responsible, literally, for those player transfers. A manager, nobody here knows what Mikel Arteta is asking for. He might be asking the whole scout and the whole sporting directing team and saying, listen, guys, I need left wingers, but nobody in my squad, the players must not hear it. I won't say it to the press, but they have a homework to do. Go get me who I need. And then the next thing, once he speaks, we start to blame managers. There's no manager. Like, the managers who have called out players, look at what has happened to those players. Maresca called out Mykhailo Mudryk. Has he stepped up his game ever since then? He's not. He's called out, who did he call out again recently? So it's for me, calling out and saying, oh yeah, in January, I'm going to strengthen the left-hand side. I'm going to strengthen my strikers. The ones who are there now are just going to be like, okay, well, I guess I might as well just, somebody's coming in January. I don't need to stress. I'll be on the bench. Right? There's a way a manager will handle those questions to the media, because the media likes to spin things and run with things and just make up all kinds of scenarios from what the manager says. I didn't get negativity from what he said there. He says, while looking at it, we are on top of it. When somebody says I'm on top of something, that means I'm assessing what my next move would be. That move could mean I'm buying 2 players, or that move could mean I can only afford 1, or that move could mean, hey, we're breaking the bank in January for three solid players, and we're not going to do much transfers in summer. It could mean anything.
The thing about both parties can be right. Like, yes, we may not do business in January, and yes, this quote might be used as a battering ram, against Arteta. But you've got to understand, anyone, right? By the way, who's been a manager or manages a team of people, you understand that you can't say certain things, especially in a public setting. You know, you can't then go bash out like, you know, a single employee or a single thing or a single entity in the business in front of people, because that's not good for morale. What you do is you have a one-to-one. You sit down with an underperforming staff member and you do it one-to-one. Like, I can't be on this podcast and say this member of staff is shit. Like, come on, like, it's common sense. Would you like it if in your workplace your manager stands up on his desk right in front of the entire company and goes, "Hey, Gal, you're a shit employee. We're looking to replace you." Actually, not even a shit employee. We're looking to replace a Gal, and you're still having to be there, by the way, until you're replaced. Do you think you're going to sit there and go, "Yeah, I'm giving this manager 100%"? No, you're going to sit there and go, "Fuck this guy."
And that's the funny thing. The statement he made actually makes the players now be on edge to actually try and do better, because he's saying we're looking at it. So players are looking at themselves. If I'm the one who's not good enough, geez, they're looking.
Okay, what about Sterling? Do you send him back in January?
I mean, they're paying for most of it anyway. I couldn't care less.
Yeah, they're paying for most of his wages. I couldn't care less if we send him back or we keep him until the end of the season. It doesn't matter to me.
Okay, so you guys said we need left wingers. Who's the left winger Arsenal should go for? You got three options: Rashford, Ademola Lookman, or Nico Williams. And then the fourth one is go to Syria and get Lial, or fifth one, Kvaratskhelia.
I mean, those are all very good left wingers. We just need a left winger that can match and take a little bit of load off what the right is doing, and that's it. To be honest, if we get anybody, even if it's going to be somebody, look, we the first time we got Martin Odegaard on loan, we saw how it went for us. He wasn't the best, but we saw the potential there, and he came back. If we can get a top left winger, everyone is on loan, or somebody which is why I said, like, these kind of transfers that are market opportunities, we can take them in January, and we can just spend big on a striker. So if we had a Martinelli form of 2 seasons ago, right, I'd just go spend big on a striker. So for now, I would actually just get another left winger that is marginally or probably even just way slightly better than what we have right now, and it's going to give me an output of the next half of the season, at least give me 9-10 goals from that left wing, and then I'll get a striker.
I know what Souls wants. Souls wants Liao.
No, do you know what? I don't. My sort of list of priorities, like, given what we need, is Marcus Rashford, Liao, and Kvara. And the reason why it's changed from, like, I don't mind Nico Williams coming in, but I just don't think he solves the problems that we've had. And I've even said this in the summer. So even if you go back and watch it, this isn't me flip-flopping or changing my opinion. I said Nico Williams offers a lot to this team. And yes, he improves that left-hand side, but his end product isn't where it needs to be. Whereas with like a Liao, for example, and Kvara and a Rashford are kind of the kinds of players we do need. Because what we don't have enough of, maybe the only player I can think of at the top of my head is Bukayo Saka, and we can have a debate about this if we need to. But he's the only moments player that we have, someone who can produce a moment to win a game. I'm not saying other players don't assist or help in doing that, but in terms of like bona fide, like you need a goal and you need a win, Bukayo Saka is probably the player you think about when it comes to that. When I look at the Premier League and when I look at outside of the Premier League as well, Marcus Rashford is probably one of the top moments players in terms of just producing a thing to get you a goal. And that's what we miss. And that's why Marcus Rashford for £40 million is a no-brainer for me.
Over Kvaratskhelia and Lookman and everybody?
They're going to cost a lot more, though. I'm talking about, like, if you're talking about a market opportunity in this
No, but we're saying if we should spend in January on the left-hand side and on the striker, but then take any other advantage on any market opportunity that is open. Because if it's a market opportunity, if you're telling me I should take Rashford. So for example, if you tell me take Rashford for 40 million right now because it's Rashford, I won't take. I'd rather go to Ademola Lookman.
Would you rather have Nico Williams or Lookman?
Nico Williams is 50. His release clause is 50 million. Nico Williams, his release clause is 50 million. So instead of me taking Rashford for 40, right?
Because I would take Rashford over Williams, and there's a few reasons. There's a few reasons to it. Number one, Nico Williams, as good as he is, his end product is in there. This is the thing, like, a lot of people have seen like moments of him. I've watched him consistently. His end product is what we're going to get frustrated with again, because as good as a player as he is, and he can take on his man, he can deliver, he can do all of that sort of stuff. But when it comes to that final third and that final moment, is where he kind of starts to lack in his game a little bit.
but
Yes, that can be developed, but we don't have the time right now.
Compared to Rashford in the last couple of seasons, his end product has also not been good.
No, Rashford has.
I know, but he's not been delivering in the last couple of seasons. Let's be honest about it. I mean,
he has. He's just been inconsistent in some
That's
seasons.
what I'm saying.
But when he has a stable environment, that's a different story.
I know, but here's what we're talking about. So let's look at the context in which we're bringing in the player. January. That means between January and May, the season ends. We're talking about winning the Premier League.
Rashford gives us that.
No, because of his because you just said because of his inconsistencies, he is not going to be
consistent. No, his inconsistencies is United's inconsistencies.
Hold on, let me just finish. He's been inconsistent for 2 seasons, literally, right? So I don't see him changing in 4 months and becoming consistent between January and May. Is what I'm saying. I'm not saying he's not already. I'm not saying he's not a good player, and I'm not saying that I do not see him turning the table around in 4 months. What I would suggest is a player in form that we know will come in and contribute at whatever cost it is. For me, is who I would bring in January if I'm going to be chasing now. If I'm saying I want to,
you know something, I'm taking Rashford out of this conversation. If it's just the foreign guys, which is Nico Williams, Lookman, Kvaratskhelia, and Leao, what should be Arsenal's number 1 priority?
Kvara, 1,000,000%.
I'll take Ademola Lookman.
Lookman over Kvara and Leao.
Yeah. Personally, I'll take who's in form right now and who's going to hit the ground running and just give me numbers.
Who's the best player out of the 4?
Kvara.
That's what I'm looking at right now, because I'm looking at the context at the time I'm bringing them in and what the goal is. Like big clubs have to start acting like big clubs. Here's what I mean by that. If I have to bring in Ademola Lookman to score me 10 goals between January and May and win me the Premier League and add to my goals tally, I do that. I bring in the striker. If next season I need to buy somebody better than him, I'll bring somebody better than him and put him on the bench. That's how big clubs move. I'm not going to sit here and try and talk about Arsenal as a big club and then we start acting like a little club. Like we start trying to pick pennies and dimes on the dollar. No, let's not do that.
The reality situation is Lookman, Nico Williams, and Leao could be available in January. Kvaratskhelia is not going to be available in January.
If that's the case, then I go for a Leao and then a Williams.
So Lookman's last on the list for you, Souls?
For me, yes.
Why?
Because I just the qualities of those 2 other players just outweigh for me.
Lookman's a much better goal scorer and gets more GA output on a consistent basis.
But on a player profile perspective, I like the way that Leao and Williams play over Lookman do. Yes, he can get that GA and that, but that's not.
But that's what I'm saying again. Let's put into context again. So the context is that we're looking for a player that can give us more GA. But let's assume this is an assumption that Arsenal get a striker and a left winger. I'm saying I would suggest that even if you're getting a left winger, I get Leao, I get all of this. I would get a left winger that will give me GA immediately, because that is what will win me games with the striker that I'm bringing in, because of the context of January till May. Come summer, I don't mind then going back and getting the next person that is better than that person. Because for me, it's who is in form right now and who's giving that GA.
Yeah, but you know what Arsenal are going to do? They're going to look long term. They're not going to look at it now and then go get another player. We've also got to look at how the club moves, and that's not how they move.
Look, you got a Liverpool fan in the chat saying Liverpool struggled to get world-class players. These clowns got no chance.
But none of them are world-class players.
But this is why a conversation, when people do conversations like this, we're talking based on what fans want. That it's not based on what the club said. So you making such a statement, Ian, is just a surface level.
But even if that's the case, none of them.
Want to know my honest truth, guys? If we're going in January, I go get Lookman. I don't think Leao, we're going to drop the type of money needed for Leao. Nico Williams, I'm underwhelmed by his play at his club. Maybe he could be much better at Arsenal. Maybe he could raise his levels at Arsenal. But for what he's doing in his league, Souls, to me, it looks like he's a bit part player in his team right now.
It depends on what you're looking at in it, because
he doesn't look like a game changer. Lookman looks like a game changer.
That is a lie. Because that
when I'm saying game changer, I mean somebody who is not just creating the chances, but somebody who's taking them themselves.
Yeah, but that's what you got to watch Athletic Bilbao as well, though. This is what I mean. Like when you're watching a piece of paper, anyone looks good or bad.
Leao and Lookman and Kvaratskhelia all look like players. When I watch them, that they take on their man. They
Okay,
push
so
the
how
game
many
forward.
games have you watched of each of them?
I watched much more of the other three. Nico
There
Williams,
we
I've
go.
watched him.
This is why I say, like, you can only make a judgment call like that if you actually watch the players. You
Okay, fair
can't dismiss a Williams if he's not a big.
I don't
time
think Williams is
player.
on the same level as these other three.
Fair enough then, but you haven't watched him, so like that opinion comes from a piece of paper. That's just not the way I judge football.
Fair enough. Yeah. If we're gonna watch highlights and watch how they pick up
What highlights? You never watch it. I can make a player
Okay.
look good and bad enough.
Scouting, okay, if you're gonna give me a scouting report
I'll give you an
on
example.
Nico Williams and
Hold on,
why
let me
you
give
think he's better
Sorry,
than
hold on.
Kvaratskhelia.
Sorry, hold on.
You think he's better than wait, you don't think he's better than Kvaratskhelia, but you think he's better than Leal and Lookman.
I never said that.
Who is he better than?
For me, the way he plays, I prefer him over Lookman. Yeah.
No matter who is better than. I want to ask you a question.
You prefer Nico Williams over Lookman?
No, the way he would fit our system, yes.
So let's look at
how would he fit our system if he's not producing GA?
Let's look at this. Let's look at this stats right.
Would he be a creator? Would he be somebody who picks up
like
the ball,
I think he'd be more of a facilitating left winger who can take on his man, he can dribble. Because Lookman is more of an inside forward, which is what I want to get away from. I need more of a stacker profile on the left hand side to bring that bit more of a balance. And I feel like that's what Williams will bring more than a Lookman. Lookman would want to come inside a lot more, which isn't what I need when a striker comes in. But I don't want to strike
goal scorers. Nico Williams not adding goals.
He will, though, in a better system where they're producing a lot more opportunities. You know what? That's why I say you have to watch the games. You can't just look at a piece of paper. If you're looking at a piece of paper, you'll never know the weaknesses and strengths of a player because you're looking at them over a period of moments.
I don't agree with you, Sauls, because here's the thing: these two people play in the same league right now. They've both played 16 and 17 games. Rafael Leal has had more shots on goal per game and has less goals and assists. Let's not do this. Come on, man. Let's like if you're saying you prefer him because you like him, that's a different thing entirely, right? I understand that. But they're playing in the same league. They played literally the same amount of games this season. And Lookman stats.
I don't judge Sony on a piece of paper.
No, not just on. I'm saying, and I've watched them play. I've seen Lookman take a game on his head and be like, "We've not scored. I'm going to score," and take the game and go score. Like literally, be like, "Give me the ball. I'm done with all this nonsense that is going on here." Take on 2-3 players and shoot from outside the box and put it in the back of the net. Gives an assist. In those type of
same qualities can be talked about Leao though as well.
I know, but I'm saying at the end of the day, what's most important for me, like I said, I mean, preference. I'm not even looking at. It's not like I prefer Ademola. I'm looking at Ademola Lookman and his output right now. In 17 games, 11 goals and 5 assists. That's 16 goals in 17 games. 16 goals and assists in 17 games. If he comes and gives us that in the last 17 games of the season, as compared to what Leao will give me because he's also a better player, but doesn't give me those G&A, then at the end of the season, I'll be saying something different, you know. So for me, it's the numbers I'm looking at, and it's who can give me the numbers that will put, because I'm talking about the January transfer window.
That's part of the football.
If it was the summer transfer window, it would be different.
Is what player profile also fits the system we're playing.
Yeah,
to be fair, but
Lookman fits the system we're playing because he hugs the touchline a lot, just like Martinelli does, and that's where he cuts back on the inside from. He hugs the touchline, takes on his man, cuts back and shoots from that side, just like what Rashford does as well when he plays off the left. He's not a inside forward per se. He's actually an 11. He's a left winger. If you go watch his games, and he plays for Nigeria, so I've watched him play for Nigeria. He's a winger, outright winger. He's a Martinelli with speed, technique, and can shoot.
I mean, personally, I take Rashford, but you know that it is what it is.
Should we worry about physicality also? Nico Williams quite scrawny. What do you call it? Kvaratskhelia is quite scrawny. You got Lookman and Leal. They're a little bit more bulky. The Premier League is very physical.
I can't do this.
No, it doesn't matter. I don't care about.
Come on, man.
I don't care about that.
Physicality in the league matters.
Kyle Saka looks scrawny.
But Kyle Saka is best strength.
Come on, man.
But he was scrawny and he was giving G&A as well. So let's not.
I'm saying players coming to the Premier League, it does take them a little bit of time to adjust.
Yeah, it does generally. But what I'm
saying,
that's a standard thing. But also, players can come in and they can hit the ground running. Erling Haaland came in and hit the ground running. There are many players who have come into the Premier League.
The Serie A is a physical league. The scrawniness is
okay. Let me ask you a question. Calafiori came into this league, and the first game he played for Arsenal, did he look like he was trying to fit in? No, he looked like he had been playing for Arsenal for like 2 seasons. So let's not.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So there's many players that have come into the league and have just literally hit the ground running. Let's not, Alexander Isak came into the league and hit the ground running. I can name you players that have done that. There's a narrative that we build to justify what we want. Like, oh yeah, players might need time to adjust, or they might be smaller, the physicality. How physical is this English Premier League as compared to other leagues? Let's be honest about it. How
The
really
Serie
physical
A has got some strong defenders.
So yeah,
Like
yo,
I don't know, man. I'm not
this AI tool is being used as disgusting racist stuff, man. What the hell? You got people are sick in the head, mate. Anyways, we're gonna wrap it up, guys. I gotta go. There is a super chat. Big up to super chatter. SGD. He says Martinelli fits our system, but not scoring. So if Nico Williams fits our system, but also is not scoring, then what?
That's why he's
Yeah,
not on top of the list. I've never
yeah,
said he's on top of it.
because Nico is not scoring at that rate right now for Real Sociedad. He's not scoring right now. He's looking good, but he's not scoring. So like
there's a reason to why he's not scoring, because they don't create the opportunities.
We're gonna have to talk about that another day.
That's why I said I'll just get someone that is scoring right now.
Let me ask you guys this. Tomorrow, what time's the Arsenal game again?
3 o'clock kickoff.
3 o'clock kickoff. Game's done by 5, right? We'll meet up after 5 after the game. If anything, if you guys are available, we'll speak immediately after the game. We do the match reaction, and then we'll be on the terrace afterwards. But I expect a win. I expect an easy, clean 3-0 Arsenal victory. What are you guys saying?
No, I'm like I said, I'm being pragmatic. Rest players rotate them 2-0 clean sheets, and let's just carry on. I'm not looking for all this smash, and I'm not interested in that nonsense. Win the game, get the 3 points, and let's move on.
I didn't say smash. I just said we're gonna win.
No, not you. I'm not saying that. I said I'm not. I didn't say you said it. I'm just saying I'm not interested in the let's go smash people. I know you guys are not talking about me directly, but majority of the things you guys are saying are people who relatively think like me, so I have to address it. Anyways, next, Souls, what are you saying?
I mean, they're not a bogey team per se, but they are a team that we have a bit of difficulty with. So I'm gonna go 2-1.
2-1. We're all three of us are going with Arsenal wins. I'll be shocked if we drop points in this game. Hopefully we don't. Hopefully we get one step closer to Liverpool, and maybe we can just continue to get ourselves going. We are currently unbeaten in our last 7 games, so I didn't realize that, but fair. Anyways, catch you guys in the next one. Love.
Love for the love, bro.